Now, we're going to go into just a little final segment here with Card Chat, brought to you by WOTAPULL. WOTAPULL, get on today, use the code BBall Edition 10, get involved, join the community, but also we're going to touch on this quickly, Phil. Next year, we've already talked about it lightly, where I'm going to be gunning for the Pacers, but I've also got a couple other little things I'm going to throw in there. I will be looking at probably the Grizzlies because I'm big on Zach Edey. Again, my Trailblazers because I want Klingon to go with my Star Trek collection of toys. But other teams, like what ones are going to be ticking your fancy in here?
Well, I mean, I'm always going to look at the Hornets, but as I've talked about this year, I've been priced out of the market because with how much of a beast Brandon Miller is, made it pretty difficult to buy in. But in terms of like other guys that I'd love to collect, the Jazz, talked about all three of those players, Cody Williams, Isaiah Collier, and Kyle Filipkowski. So, having three players there, that's probably going to make the Jazz, not so much of a cheap team to draft. The Bulls have always historically been quite cheap because they haven't had a lot of high draft picks in recent years. But Matas Buzelis, I mean, he could cause them to sort of go up in price. It'll be interesting to see what happens there with him. The Heat, Khalil Weir, and that second round pick that we just talked about, Pelly Larson. They could be some quite fun guys to pick. How about this? I know we're sort of slightly moving away from card chat, but it's all part of it. The way too early. Who is your rookie of the year?
Okay. I like it. Now, my rookie of the year.
Before you go into it, I'm just going to give you a couple of extra things to add to your thought process.
Yes.
When I think about it, I think about it essentially doesn't matter how good the team is because the Spurs were garbage and Wemby was incredible and he won rookie of the year. So that's irrelevant. Same thing with the Hornets. They were trash and Brandon Miller ended up with, votes. So the guys that actually look like they're going to slot straight into like a starting role, and that's the problem with this draft, right? Is that because as we've talked about it, it's a bit of a role player draft. I feel like there isn't anyone that's genuinely number one. It's going to be so hard to genuinely pick who is going to be the best player.
Who's the best role player? That should be the thing. So you are dead right. It is going to be interesting to see who will be, but I'm going to throw it out there because I'm a big believer in a couple of things. I think, and this is going to probably throw you off your chair.
Wow.
I think Zach Edey will be rookie of the year.
That has thrown me off my chair because I'm just going to come straight out and say it before we provide commentary on each other. I'm thinking I'm going to go Spurs back to back. Stephen Castle. I think he's going to jump into a starting role. Has the potential to. I mean, this is something we're going to have to revisit this chat and we're going to laugh because we're going to say what were we thinking. But he has the potential to step into a starting role and really contribute. But, if we're going to go through our thought process, you'd argue that Zachary Rechaché would be a good option because a number one pick, the Hawks are going to give him lots of minutes, you would think. Alex Sarr on the Wizards, who are rebuilding, you'd argue he's going to have lots of opportunity, but he's too raw. He's too raw. Reed Shepherd, he has a lot of potential there to get to win it as well. But again, on a team that's actually ready to compete.
The Rockets are far too deep for Reed Shepherd to show something. And I agree with you on Stephen Castle. I did look at him and go, yep, Wemby's going to open them up and he'll unlock Wemby.
Hey, but what about this? Klingon. He has the potential to be starting center if they move away from DeAndre.
If that happens, yes. I do feel he will move up to being a top 2, top 3 prospect if they get rid of Ayton, but I don't think they're going to.
Salary floor implication? They need a salary floor. Or no one else would want him.
Yeah, no one wants Ayton.
Are they going to give him the max? He always talks. He thinks he's a max player. I don't think he is.
But here's the thing with Ayton: he's just stupid. Like he is just actually dumb. He didn't buy a bed in Portland for the first.
We're not going down this road again.
Yeah, I'm going down it, Phil. It
was a year ago already. Let it go.
But how stupid have you got to be? And he talks about himself being the best. Going, I'm a max contract guy. DeAndre, you ain't.
Do you think Zach is a starter? Immediate starter?
Yes. I think offensively, he's too big and too good on offense to leave off, and you're going to have to develop his D. He'll create problems with the screening, I think, on the floor, and he's going to open up Jar, and Jar's going to have more options. And now with, as I mentioned or touched on earlier, Gigi Jackson's a year better. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a vet now. and you could class him as a vet. Jar is, he's over his issues. Hopefully he's going to go through an uninjured season, and just when he's on, that team wins. And Desmond Bain's still there. You forget Desmond Bain's still around. So I think Zach
Marcus
Eady's going to,
Smart.
Marcus
He
Smart.
didn't play. He didn't play all year. Bro, that, as we classically digress,
Yes.
that Grizzlies team, they ended up with the 9th pick because they ended up being terrible because they lost Jar for the year, showing how important Jar is. But who's going to miss out on a playoff spot? Because the West, the Rockets have just got immediately better. The Grizzlies are going to be better again. The Thunder, obviously, they're always going to be up there. The Clippers are going to be there again. The Lakers missed out. They're going to be back up there and reloaded. The Suns missed out. They're going to be back up.
The Warriors will drop out, mate. They've got nothing. They've got no picks, no nothing. Back to card chat. I'll be buying big on the Grizzlies, I think, next year, because that's my belief. I think Purdy is going to be the guy, rookie of the year. Maybe we make this rookie of the year / card chat, because that's what this is, right? You are right. Yeah, I think Robert Dillingham as well, going to the T-Wolves. I don't think he's going to get many minutes. You're dead right with that. Just running through the list. Cody Williams.
Magic, I'm quite keen on Tristan Da Silva. I want to collect some of him.
Good call.
Yeah, they definitely need offensive help. I don't know if that's going to come straight away from a rookie. Yeah. In the same breath, his shooting 49, 39, 83. So 39.5% shooting 3-pointer, pretty solid. And that's something that the Magic missed. Franz Wagner was putting up 1 million shots a game and was shooting at about 25%. They get some more solid 3-point shooting. He could fill that role.
Now, my question for you, Phil, who is your smoky rookie to come through? Your breakout rookie that will break into the top 5 this year?
Elephant in the room, we basically touched on just about everyone in the top 10, and we didn't talk about Tajon Saloon, Hornets rookie. Yep. Now, he has the most upside, as they talk about. We've got the G League actually starting in a couple of weeks, which is quite exciting. So, sorry, not the G League, Summer League. So it's going to give us a great opportunity to first look at a lot of these rookies. So he could actually end up being someone that could get some minutes for the Hornets, and maybe he'll shut up the haters. But again, it could come down to injuries, because there seems to be a lot of talent. I don't know if he immediately slots into a rotation piece there. By way of smoky, that's tough, because it could be someone like Isaiah Collier for the Jazz, who got picked up quite late. I don't think you could pick a catch and shoot guy like Baylor Shireman to come in for a lot of those contending teams, because those rookies just don't tend to get a lot of minutes, because you've already got those established role players. That tends to be the way it goes. Dalton Connect, that could be a real cheeky shout, because he's going to step straight into a role, and if he's going to shoot as well as he did with the amount of spacing that LeBron creates, AD creates, Austin Reeves, genuine option.
Yeah. Now, here's my smoky. I'm going deep into the basement to find this guy. I'm going Kyle Filipowski as my smoky. I think he's going to be a guy that will look back in years to come, and this is probably going to haunt me if I'm wrong, but I think he'll be a guy that will be like, why wasn't he drafted higher? That's my take on him. Just in watching some film on him, I think there that he said something wrong at the interview, but he's definitely not carrying any injuries, and he's a Duke boy. You can't go past that. So, like, for me, he's my smoky, and that's why I'll be buying a little bit with the Grizzlies and the Jazz this coming year. Yeah, I think he's the one, and I felt for him. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder with something to prove.
Don't hate it. Don't hate it at all.
And that's chat. Thank you for listening to our 3-parter this week. We don't often release 3 parts, but we wanted to, mainly for the fans out there, but also for ourselves, because we've missed podcasting with you all on the regular. So thank you, fans. Thank you for keeping us going. Thank you, Phil. You're a gentleman, scholar, and a champion.
Right back at you, my dear friend.
Thank you for listening to the Basketball Edition podcast. Please make sure to follow us on our socials, basketball_edition_WMSA. And if you are wanting to have a chat with us, please send us a message and we'll get back in touch with you. Make sure to follow us on Apple, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and YouTube, all good podcasting streaming channels. Thank you.